Great. Thank you so much. Well, I'm very, very excited to be here. This is such an incredible opportunity, and I thank the organizers of Orbit 2026 for having the idea of creating, especially in this year that's such an innovative year of so many great opportunities that we're going to have, and that we are bringing together the empowerment, the technology, and the women empowerment. So thank you, Orbit, for having that incredible idea of bringing all together. You know, I am out of age that I can see how we have transformed ourselves and we have changed. No longer do we have the boundaries that we had before, that I am here in Miami, Florida, and you are in Paris, and I've gotten calls from people from different places in the world for this conference, different speakers that we want to connect. So I truly and wholeheartedly thank you for that. We're going to go through the following modules of a book that I am launching today. This is my soft launch, which is called Be Heard. And what's important about that is many times we speak, but our voice doesn't carry the message, especially in this wonderful world, like I said before, that we have technology, but we have an issue. And the issue is that there's so much out there, there's so much information, there's so much social media, there's so much technology that it becomes noise, and people really don't hear you. So we're going to go through some different points of how we can assess that authority so we can have that opportunity. So when our voice is out there, people can actually hear us. Then we're going to go through the structure of the legal foundation of contracts and operations, and how is it that we set this up. And since we're talking in a global conference, we're going to explain how many of us, many people around the world may not know that you could actually start a business anywhere in the world in the United States. And why do you want to do that? In part because you can also, you might be able to qualify for certain contracts that will set you up for several years, and you'll have an additional monies that are going to come your way. We're going to talk about capital and the different options and opportunities that are available in this capital, the innovation tools that are coming up, and the new field that is opening, which is space. I recently finished my master's in international law, and my thesis was on space law and how that is going to affect humanity and what new technology that brings. So we're going to touch on that, the expansion of what certification is, and most importantly, the legacy. Who are you and what legacy are you going to leave? Not to talk to, so people can talk about you, not when you're in the room, but when you leave the room, which is what's really, really important. So a little bit about who I am. I am a pioneer woman leadership and business development speaker and coach. I created the first woman executive incubator program in the world. And I started in Miami, Florida in 1992, and I assisted in programs to create similar incubator executive office suites for women in Lithuania and Ghana, Africa. And we have, of course, we've been able to grow incredibly. When I'm talking about is women. From 1992 to now, there has been an incredible growth to the point that there is now more women opening businesses than men. I'm also the first economic developer of the city of Doral, which is where I'm at. When I started, we were only 24,000 people. We're now 87,000, and we were placed as a number one in economic small business growth in the state of Florida. I also assisted in Albania passing women and family defense laws and created the mission resilience and the women's certificate program. I'm going to explain to you how it all began because it's important. Stories, your voice, what happened to you is really who you are. It tells everyone where you came from. It's not only your story, it's your resilience. And why do you need to say that? Because that's important so other people can see themselves in you and say, well, if she did, I can do it too. I started with uh nothing really. I had been working for Miami-Dade County, and the place where I work, we were reduced from 35 to 3. I was one of those lucky 3. And because of so much stress, my jaw broke and I had 3 open face surgeries. I had just been divorced. I had 2 little kids and a mother to take care of. So that was something else. I mean, what is it that you're going to do? Well, Hurricane Andrew came around, which is a devastating hurricane that devastated South Florida. And a lot of people didn't know what to do. Since I worked in government, I knew what to do. I went to a women's group with a halo around my face, a metal halo, because I couldn't hardly talk or write. And I said I could fix almost any problem. There, someone offered me if I wanted to help them start a beauty salon. Another woman told me I could rent an office in her room, in her a desk in her office. That was a little too much money, but I said I would go ahead and do it. And from there, a doctor came. They told me if I wanted to assist them to get a business loan. I didn't know how to do it, but I did know one thing: a system. I didn't understand how government worked. And this is very important. If you know a system, then you could apply that system to whatever situation you have. So I applied the system of resolving problems, cutting red tape. I assisted him to get that loan. And from there, I was able to assist hundreds of people to get small business administration disaster loans. I rented a I rented a bigger office. I got chairs and desks, and instead of renting it for $200 a month, I rented it for $5 an hour. And it grew and grew and grew into the New Woman Entrepreneur Center that I held for 7 years. And I helped over 600 women and men start and develop businesses. And that's how the first incubator program, executive incubator program in the United States was born. And from that, like I said, I assisted in Africa and Lithuania. So this is important. Sometimes when you are in a problem, when you're in a situation that you said, oh my God, how bad can this get? Well, things get better. Sometimes that is what the universe throws at you to see how you can resiliently come out of that and grow from the person you were to the person that you could be. Now, many times people say, well, I want to do this, but I'm not ready yet. I need to study more. I need to get more confidence first. I need everything to be perfect. And that's not true. Those thoughts are sometimes what paralyzes you, because perfection and being ready is good, but too much of it paralyzes you and doesn't let you move forward. You need to feel that you can move forward. You should study, you should see what you need, and then have the confidence inside of you to move before you're ready, because that movement that you have will launch you to the next step. But if you stay stuck where you are, then you're never going to get where you need to be. So the truth about being heard is that it shouldn't be noise. It should be a message. It should be a message that people want to hear, not just talk, but how could this help me? So you shouldn't just talk to talk, and you shouldn't just talk to be loud. You should talk to deliver a message that others can grasp and they can do their own. not performance, but purpose. What purpose are you telling people that they could apply to themselves? And not just confidence, but clarity. How can you explain that in a way that they could understand even the most complicated thing? You know, a professional is the person who makes complicated things seem simple. You know, I just talked to an incredible lady before I came on this webinar with you, that she made something that was very complicated for me to put up because of different technological issues that I was having. Very easy. She gave clarity, and therefore I listened, and therefore I was able to now be talking to you. So you have to talk with confidence, but also with clarity, and not only with talent, but with strategic visibility, to place yourself in a place, in the situation, in the right place where people can see you, because visibility is everything. So, again, this is it. This is the great soft launch to my book, Be Heard. It's a 60-day framework on how, step by step, every single modules of these 6 modules, the authority gives you the leadership. It helps you find your voice, your executive presence. The structure tells you the legal foundation and contracts and operations, and how do you set up your business. Regardless of where you are in the world, you can set up a business in the United States and have an American business without ever having to come to the United States. How do you structure that? The third is capital, the different forms of capital. There's just not one capital. There are many forms of capital. Of course, there's the capital of money that you're receiving, but you need to have that financial clarity of how do you price something? How do you find funding for yourself? How do you get grants, which are monies that governments give for free in order for you to help you propel you in your business? How do you get a contract 1, 3, 4, 5 years in order to not just have one stream of money coming in, but several? How do you use the AI tools, the automation, and the modern strategic leveraging? With AI now, you can do so many things. You don't have to hire a whole bunch of people. You can just learn AI, and it is very simple in order to propel you to get to where you want to go. How do you register for these different programs overseas? You could even do this overseas to get government contract, and how you can create a legacy that will continue after you leave. Now, the first is clarity. Clarity means you answer 3 questions quickly and convincingly. Who do I serve? What transformation do I create? And why does my work matter right now? That is very important. Who do I serve? If you don't have that clarity of who is the audience that you serve, then your marketing is going to go to many places instead of it going targeted to one. What transformation do I create? How can I help you become a better business person, a better person? How can I make your business grow? And why does my work matter right now? Why is it right now? Being heard is not about volume. It is about the weight of your words, so people choose to listen, not because they have to listen, but because they want to listen. So let's go to number 2, which is positioning requires more than credential. It requires translation. What does that mean? I have seen many times people that don't necessarily have the most credentials in the room, not even the resources, but they do have what it takes. They have the positioning. They have gone and seen their officials and the people that matter to them before they needed them. They created a type of relationship. So when the moment comes, they are prepared. Lead with value, not with your resume. Your resume should just show why you can do the things that you're doing, not what you've done. it's tells a story of who you are. So all the titles that you have are important, but they're not that important. Like I always tell my children, a certificate, a graduation is important because the way we stand right now, although that it is changing, when people hear that you have a certain uh, resume, meaning that you have certain a master's, a bachelor's, a doctor's degrees, they automatically think, oh, this person is smart. You have to prove yourself that you're not. And when you don't have any of those credentials, then people really don't know who you are. So try to lead with the value that you're giving the person and not necessarily with your resume, and make your message memorable enough to be repeated. Say something in that message that hits with people, that hit the person that you're talking to, so the person will remember you. Because if they don't remember you and how you make them feel, they're not going to remember you anymore. So if I want you to remember one thing about me, that my book is called Be Heard, because that is what I am all about. Helping you to become heard. How can what you're saying to whomever you're saying it lands in a way that they will remember you? So, structure. I explained before that the legal structure of the United States allows foreigners, people from wherever world, that they can create a legal business. They can create an LLC and they can create a C corporation. So that is important. That it's important for you to understand that you could do this, or you could have a business in your country and do business with the United States. You don't have to start a business here in the United States to do that. The financial clarity in your pricing, cash flow, and funding. This is extremely important because many times people undercharge. You know, it's not about the cheapest, it's not about the less expensive. That's not necessarily who gets the job. It's about the person that has the ability to communicate to you that what you're giving them is worth more money than what they're paying you. So the financial clarity and the cash flow that you have and how you present yourself is the important thing. How to get certified, how to register for SAM. If you have a business now outside the United States, but you want to do business with the United States, you can register at sam.gov as a vendor and give businesses to the United States. The United States has approximately $10 billion annually of monies that we utilize to buy product and services worldwide. So if you have a business, you could register with sam.gov and you can go through the websites that are specifically are there anywhere in the world now with this incredible technology, and you may get a business with the federal government in the United States. And what is the operational systems that are documented and scalable? This is very important. You shouldn't scale, you shouldn't grow before you're ready. All right, so the next is access. Government markets are not structured. They are structured in a way, they are not closed. They are structured in a way to assist you, but they are placed on processes and policies. And you have to understand those processes and policies so government can work for you. And that is part of what we assist is in that capability of that access. Global opportunity is not reserved for a few. It rewards the prepared. So you do need to be prepared and then go for it. What are certifications? There are women certifications that you're 51% women-owned businesses. You do have to qualify to get special contracts, which are set aside, which is around 23 to 25% of the businesses are set aside in the United States to give to women businesses and to give to small businesses. A matter of fact, if you are a big business, in order to continue getting contracts, you have to give around 25% of your business to small businesses, but only businesses that are certified as small businesses. So the doors you want are more reachable with your message and with your system aligned. So a vision without a voice is a dream. Without direction, it's clear thinking waiting for expression. Voice is not volume, it is clarity, conviction, and the willingness to communicate your value with purpose consistently in every room that matters to your mission. So you have to have clear what is the mission. Visibility, validation, and victory. This is a picture uh, that we took in the graduation of a certified leadership program that I had at Miami-Dade College with these incredible women that 80% of them have gone and done incredible things with their lives. Why? Because they did the visibility, the validation, and they obtained the victory that they wanted to do. Now, I'm not talking just to talk or about theory. I am talking because I have walked the talk. I have talked and walked the talk. I have assisted women in Miami, in Africa, in Lithuania, and in over 30 countries. And not only women, but women and men all over the world. And one of the things that I have seen is that regardless of where you are, it's the same thing. People want the same thing. It doesn't matter what part of the world you are, what language you speak, what culture you are, or what socioeconomic situation you are. We all want the same thing. We want to prosper and we want to assist our children to prosper. So the message is universal. Leaders everywhere need a voice, need confidence, and need a framework to create action. But leadership is also public responsibility. And this is very important for you never to forget this. Leadership requires judgment. You have to have the right judgment, not just the charisma. It requires a policy and the passion, and it requires service, accountability, and decisions under fire, under pressure. Things not always are going to be perfect, but you have to have that belief in yourself that even if it gets tough, you're going to keep on pushing through because that mission is important. And the public responsibility is that every time you buy something from somebody, every time you have a product or service to sell, you have to think of not only the money that you're getting, but what impact are you doing in society and in the world. If we have that public responsibility, we can and have become a better world. I have seen this world change and it still needs work, but it is changing to the better a lot. So, what does this look like in real life? Confidence becomes action, ideas become ventures, local businesses become government contractors, community leaders become global voices, and one woman stabilized creates a ripple in her family, her neighborhood, and the economy. I'm a big believer that men and women, that combination together to raise a family is what creates the ripple effect through life or whatever type of partnership that you have. But family is very, very important. And the basis of who has that family, who runs that family, and the ripple effect that it has in the neighborhoods and the economy is impressive. The institutional opportunity is of markets. Again, I want to stress that they are anywhere in the world. And if you are in the United States, it's important not to disregard your state and local markets. Many times people just go to the federal market. and they do not touch the local and state markets that are with government in their particular cities. I'm here in the city of Doral, which is part of Miami, Florida, and each city has a local program to help small business owners, and they have preferential treatment for them. The state has this, many states have the same thing. So if you are in the United States, don't just put that aside. Go to your local businesses, register there as a vendor, and you will see how they can help you. To your local municipalities, register as a vendor, you can see how they can help you. Another very important thing that I don't want to let go is to talk about subcontracting and how that helps you build past performance. So let me explain to you what that is. I talked to you earlier about prime contractors, big contractors, and how they needed to um, be able to contract small businesses in order for their businesses to continue. Well, that is very important. If you are not a large business, you can start with the small businesses, with the subcontracting, getting businesses from larger businesses. I hope this helped you move before you are ready. You do you do not build confidence by waiting. You build confidence by moving. This is the cover of my book. You can get it at www.bettinarodriguezaguilera.com or in Amazon. Remember, be heard and build it from anywhere. Remember about your set asides, and thank you for giving me this opportunity for clarity, structure, and to get ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bettina. And I'm gonna check you. We have some question for you.
Okay, that's awesome.
Okay. Okay. In a crowded global market, how can professional ensure their voice is actually heard?
Okay, well, that's what we've been talking about. You know, the very first thing is that you have to identify what it is that you really want to be known as. In this global market, the more specific that you are, that people know that you offer a program or service, the better it is. So you have to position yourself, and you have to think that doesn't mean that I'm going to limit myself for everything else I'm going to do. But what is my main market, and what is my main passion? From that, you grow. You grow by identifying what is your market. Then once you know what your market is, then you work with those markets. You work with, let's say it's a women market. So then let's say it's me. So I'm going to give you a specific example so it could be real. So I am now launching this book, which is a new venture within my business, which I do many other things, but I'm focusing on this book to be heard. What am I doing? I'm going to global stages like this, and I'm focusing on women. I'm going to chambers of commerces that are women owned and focusing on women. I am going to podcasts that are focusing on women, and I'm going to be seen as an expert. So when I walk into a room, I am going to be seen as the best person available for that type of business. And people are going to listen to me, not because I want to be heard and I'm going to talk loud and I'm going to be constant. They want to listen to me because what I am going to tell them, they trust me, because before they buy, they need to trust. And in order to develop that trust, which is something that is lacking right now, because again, there's so much noise and there's so much people need to know, who can I trust? You have to become the best there is in the market for that. So you have to be focused, and you got to go to that specific market.
Okay. Next question. From where did you get the courage to start?
I got the courage to start, to tell you the truth, because I had to start. I had, the my you should see my face. It was every 6 months they had to cut open my face here and saw sew my jaws and put this metal thing around me. I had two little kids and I had a mother to take care of, and I had to find a way. So I sat down with myself and said, okay, what still works? My hand doesn't write, my mouth doesn't work, but my brain works. So I'm going to get that experience that I have and I'm going to make it happen. One thing is that you can't do the victim card. That you have to throw it away. And every time that you feel sad and you start saying, oh, because people understand, they haven't gone through this, oh, because I don't have any money, or because I'm sick, or because I have 5 kids to take care of, or because whatever it is, you take that out. No, 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 no. You see, 5,000, we have 50,000 thoughts, 50,000 thoughts that are coming into our brain every day, bombarding us, because the way our brain works, it's on survival instead of confidence, and it's telling us how not to do and what to do. So what I did and what I tell you to do when all those thoughts come in, you take it away. Get a piece of paper, right? Just a plain piece of paper. You don't even need a computer. And you're going to put on one side everything that you have that's good and everything that you have that's not good. Sometimes we put what's not good and then we see what's good. So whatever we have that's good, we got to build on that. So that's what I did. What I have I good, my brain still worked. Thank God to that. Okay. So I went to a women's meeting that didn't cost me any money because I didn't have any money either. And I said, okay, I can't talk or I can think. So anybody who needs to do any business, just let me know and I will make it happen. And from there, you have to show up. If you don't show up to places, you know what happens? Nothing happens. Nothing happens because you already have to know. So you have to take your pity talk, throw it away. You have to take your victim card, throw it away, and say, okay, let me move forward. Where do I see myself in 6 months, 1 year, 3 years? And let me do this plan to get there.
Okay, next question. How can cultural differences impact the way your vision is perceived internationally?
Oh, that's a very good question. And I'm originally from Cuba. So I'm not necessarily from here. I mean, from the United States. But I've been here most of my life. So which is great because Miami, it's like a little microcosm of all the world put together here. We have people from all over the world. And I think because of that, I have been able to communicate, but when to different cultures. But for example, when I went to Albania, I don't speak Albanian. Okay, I don't speak Albanian. I speak English and Spanish, but I don't speak Albanian. So how could I communicate with Albanians? You know how? You know why? Because you know what's the number one? Again, we got to take that victim card out, and we have to think. We communicate as people through what? Through our voice or through our actions?
To our
We
action.
communicate 90%, we communicate through body language. And people aren't stupid. They know when you're real and when you're genuine. So as long as you're giving a real message to people, it doesn't matter what language you're talking about. It doesn't matter anything. People perceive that you're real, and people perceive that you care, and people perceive that you are telling them the honest truth because you've been through that. You're not just talking about theory. But yes, there are cultural differences, and you should respect those cultural differences. I'm not saying that you don't, but the core of the person is the same person. And that's who you have to go to. You have to go to the core of the person, respecting their cultural differences, but going to the core. And that's how I still have connections with people in Ethiopia, in Libya, that I have talked to 10 years ago, that I trained 10 years ago, 15 years ago. We still talk, we still have the connection. And sometimes, you know how we talk? We talk to Facebook because they translate whatever we're saying. So we don't know what we're saying, but we can talk through Facebook. So cultural differences are important. They should be respected. But the number one thing is to communicate with your heart and your mind. And those two things sync together. That body language, people will pick it up.